Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and this is Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I've been running around all this morning and trying to get stuff together. Excuse me. Don't know where that came from. So, how about we just jump right into it, huh? There's not a lot of news this week, obviously, because there's lots of other stuff that's going on. So, I did drag up the bottom of the barrel, if you will, of the news. So we'll see what happens here and we can just roll with it. How about that? So, hey, Stanley, how's it going? What's going on? So, the big thing is that was just announced yesterday. DC Comics has cut ties with Diamond Distribution. So, this is actually a really big deal. Diamond Comic Distributors have had a stranglehold on the comic industry for, I would say, almost 30 years now. They have been a monopoly where they are the only ones that have been distributing, you know, all the comics. So all the comic, houses, Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse, all those guys are all going through Diamond to distribute their comics, and they've been the only game in town for almost 30 years. So um, yeah, basically what DC said was like, screw that. What we're doing is we're going through Lunar Distribution, UCS Distributors for their periodical releases, and Penguin Random House for their graphic novels and collected editions. They're like, we're going to split everything up here by order or whatnot, and send it out because we're tired of being under Diamond Comics rules. Their their costs as well. They're pretty fucking expensive. So yeah, it's one of those things that and it's going to be a big deal to the comic book industry because where does Marvel stand now at this point? That's what everyone's going to be looking at. As soon as I would say by Monday, you're going to see eyes shift over to Marvel and go, "What are you guys doing?" And Marvel, who's owned by Disney, of course, and they could obviously make their own production, distribution line easily. Uh, but who knows what's going to happen there? And you're probably saying, "What are you talking about comic books for?" That's all what's around me here, and that's kind of what I talk about too. So is comic book related stuff, and that's kind of near and dear to my heart. I've always been a reader of comics. Not as much lately. I should say I actually read a lot more now than I have in a while because now that I have DC Universe, I've been reading them, on my TV, believe it or not. Yes, digital comics. I know. Blasphemy. But yes, I have been reading them digitally. Of course, I have all the graphic novels back here too. You can't see. There's a lot of stuff in the back room. Um, this background most likely is going to be changing Monday. So I finally got other stuff sorted out so I can actually start working on my background again. That kind of got put on the kibosh there when the water heater went out. So that's the reason why stuff was happening there. So yeah, big news in the comic world. Also, so we know that Ruby Rose has left CW's Batwoman, thankfully. Well, for some reason, instead of recasting Kate Kane, they've decided to go in a completely different direction and just get rid of Kate Kane entirely, the character of Kate Kane, and recast her basically, or not recast her, replace her with a different character. Um, I've talked a little bit about this before, but it's really kind of weird. They want to replace her with a character named Ryan Wilder, and there's no really good reason to do that since you've already established Kate Kane, and then of course to uh, I don't know. I don't understand whether. Granted, the show isn't good. The only thing that's good about the show is the villain, and the villain is actually played very, very well. But yeah, sacrilege digital comics. Yeah. Is there a different character in the comics? No, there is not a different character in the comics, Stanley Twill. This is actually a character that is made up specifically for the show. So yeah, I should have prefaced that as well. So they are making up a completely new character for the show. They were deviating from the comics, of course, and I don't know why they're doing it. Quite honestly, it's my guess is they're hoping that Ruby Rose will come back one day. I don't know why they want her to come back. She is a horrible, horrible actress. I mean, just horrendous actress. I don't know why she keeps getting work, quite honestly, especially when you see the other actors around her that are, they're acting, I mean, completely way, way, way above her limits. And yeah. It's not canon. Get the pitchforks. Yeah. Viking Mitch says, Dennis thought you were moving to another room. Yes. I talked about this a little bit earlier, Viking Mitch. If you're on time, yeah. So yeah, it's all because of the water heater. I haven't moved anything. But now that's going to happen on Monday. You'll see a different background. Well, you're going to see the same background, just different books, different stuff, shall we say. Yeah. I did talk about it earlier. God. I didn't even plug my stuff this time, coming in. I just went straight in cold. Is this Sunday already? No, it's actually Thursday. Yeah. That's the day. EHR. Yeah. Oh, wow. You're working, Pen? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not. Well, other than this. Yeah, I had to pull together a lot of stuff this morning. I forgot what it's like on Saturdays, and yes, exactly. Keep an eye on the schedule. Thanks, Pen. Yeah, sure, why not? I'll plug it. Like, share, and subscribe. Also, take a look at my schedule on suspendedfanimation.com. It's also got all the links to all my social media that's there as well. There we go. So that's easy enough to pop that out there. Excuse me. I don't know why my voice all of a sudden is just like, bleh. So, Jon Favreau has given us some updates on the Mandalorian season 2, and it seems like he says all the shooting for the show had gotten done before the shelter in place happened. So it's still on track for an October release on Disney Plus, which is excellent. I mean, your the special effects guys and all that stuff do not need to be working together in the same room, so they can work on all this stuff, you know, by themselves in a with a computer, and it's fairly easy for them to do. So getting all that special effects work, and pretty much all the special effects work is already done in camera for the most part. The only things are the laser blasts, and a few other tweaks here and there, and some of the sound and stuff like that. It's actually fairly interesting. If you have not watched on Disney Plus the Masters series, watch it. It's really, really good. It's an insight, especially if you're just a little bit interested in how um, stuff is made, TV wise, movie wise, things like that. They talk a lot about technical aspects as well as acting aspects, writing, storyboarding, things like that. It's some really good stuff. And they go into detail. They actually, in this last episode, episode 5, they went into the technical details of how they do the video wall. It's a set called the volume. That's what they call it, is the volume. It's just this gigantic room that has video screens all the way around it and on the ceiling as well. And it was something that Lucas had envisioned. And I remember when he was shooting the prequels, he was talking about this. And I actually had thought of building on top of what Lucas was saying, doing a sphere of cameras like 360. So basically, you have a round, you have a plexiglass platform, if you will. So, and you have cameras that can move around in a 360-degree motion that could capture your actors, your live actors, and then you can also add in digital stuff later on. But they've gone even further with this. With the volume, is you already have your digital stuff in the background using video game engines. So it's Unreal. The name of the video game engine is called Unreal Engines, and it can actually render stuff in real time. And you have that in your video games that you play. That's why when you look right, when you look left, stuff sometimes doesn't track right because it's just the game catching up sometimes. But it usually takes place within milliseconds, and that's how they're doing this for the screen. Stanley says, "Do I want to know how the sausage is made?" In this case, yes, you do. It's actually fairly interesting. I actually have one of my old professors from art school who works at, I believe it's Unreal now. He works for a video game company. He actually teaches them Unreal and a couple other things, and it's really cool. And I have a feeling that he's been working maybe with Disney on some of this stuff too, because he hasn't been able to say some stuff. But yeah. Did they bribe with a water heater? No, they didn't. Yeah. I've actually been making a lot of positive statements about Disney Plus EHR. I admit when I'm wrong. I admit when I'm wrong on that stuff. And I was completely wrong about Disney Plus. I was the first one that was bagging on that shit when I first heard about it. And yeah, I'll be the first one to admit that I was wrong about it. It actually lives up to the hype. It is actually some good stuff. I keep going back to it and watching other stuff. Um, and that's kind of what's good about it is they are not just kind of going, "Oh, we've got some old content we're going to shove forward." No, they're bringing new content in. And while it might not be, it might not be to everyone's liking some of the stuff, there's plenty of other shit that's there for you to look at. I'm actually interested in seeing Jedi Academy is what's coming out. It was supposed to come out this week, but because of the protest, Ahmed Best, who is the host, who also does the voice of Jar Jar Binks, he requested that it be postponed because of all the protesting. Because he didn't want, of course, any kind of distractions from that, which I agree with him 100%. Yes. Um, let's see. I remembered watching a behind the scenes specials for Star Wars and Raiders after a kid. Yeah, exactly, Joker. It's the same kind of thing like that, only this is much more detailed. And John Favreau, you can tell, was the one that was behind all this. He's been doing a lot of this stuff as he's filming. Uh he does a lot of he has other cameras rolling, capturing behind the scenes stuff. And that's what's awesome about it. Epic is owned by Tencent. Epic is owned by Sony, Stanley. Not by Tencent. I don't know what that is. So, yeah. And Epic sucks. That's all I can say. Old content is new because of the edits. Yeah, I don't watch the edited crap, EJAR. That's why, again, like I said, I have physical media. That doesn't change. Digital content does. So, yeah. You can get your own Mandela effect going on, yeah, or Bernstein Bears, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so we got Mandalorian season 2 still on track for October for an October release. And speaking of Disney Plus, the Black Cauldron. I don't know if some of you might be too young for that. But in the 70s, there was a movie called The Black Cauldron. It was an animated movie. It wasn't that popular. It does have a following, though. It is getting supposedly the next live action adaptation from Disney. You know how they've been doing like Mulan and Aladdin and all that kind of stuff. They're going to be doing the Black Cauldron as the next live action Disney film. And I'm actually looking forward to that. That could be some good stuff. It was different at the time. I mean, if you look at it now, you're like, whatever. But I'm liking it. Stanley Tweedle says, Epic, the games publisher that owns Unreal. Oh, okay, there you go. I thought you were talking about Epic, the the channel, the streaming channel, Epic. Too many things named Epic. Epic Comics, Epic, the game publisher. Actually, yes, he does work for Epic. Now that I remember, my old professor. That's who he works for. But he has been training other people outside of the video game industry. That is you, Stanley Tweedle. That's not me because I'm listening to my stuff right now. So, yep, it's only you. Who knows? Maybe it is me. I'll go back and listen to it at some point in time and we'll see what happens. But you're probably hearing my stomach every now and then growling. Michael Jai White, Black Dynamite himself, he wants to play Green Lantern, John Stewart in the Green Lantern Corps. And I don't know. I don't know if he is it's distorting for you too, Silver Spike? Oh, okay. Well, don't know what to tell you on that. It could be the stream. Yeah. Yeah, Penn's not having any issues, so I don't know. Maybe it's you guys across the pond. That's what's happening. And hey, Silver Spike, nice to see you again. Yeah, it's so Michael Jai White wants to play, Green Lantern, John Stewart in the Green Lantern Corps. I don't know, man. I mean, I like him a lot, and he's actually physically capable of doing stunts and stuff like that. I don't know if he's the right age. That's the only thing. Um, I'm not doing that right now, Joe Greer. So everything is on automatic. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually don't know if he's the right age for John Stewart, to tell you the truth. They probably want to skew up a little bit younger, like in his 30s, that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's I believe he's older than me. So he's in his 50s right now, Michael Jai White. Yeah. But like I said, there are a lot worse choices that you could be making for that character, and he is not one of them, of course. So there's been all these billboards that have been popping up all over LA trying to get Disney to make a sequel to the live action, Alita Battle Angel. And I've been thinking about this. I mean, again, this is all blowback from the whole release the Snyder cut bullshit. And now I knew this was going to happen. Now that Warner Brothers has given in, well, actually, Warner Brothers did not give in. So Warner Brothers released HBO Max, which had really shitty content, didn't have enough content. They are not allowed to shoot any new content at the moment because studios are not reopening until June 12th. And then again, there's going to be a whole bunch of stipulations that they're going to, put into place so that these guys cannot, there's going to be social distancing, all that kind of stuff. There's going to be a lot of restrictions for filming, let's just say. So they don't have a lot of options with new content. So of course, what they did was they decided to throw 20 or 30 million dollars at what Snyder had left on the cutting room floor, or I should say, what Josh Whedon left of Snyder's Snyder's movie on the cutting room floor, redoing some of the digital, the CGI and whatnot, and releasing a different movie, if you will. Because they needed some holes to plug in their really shitty programming guide they have on HBO Max. They essentially jumped the gun by releasing HBO Max when they did. So this is the result now, is that everyone and their mother's like, oh, well, take a look what Warner Brothers did. If Warner Brothers can do this, everyone else can. Why don't we get a new Alita Battle Angel movie? Well, why don't we get a new Manimal show? Why don't we get a new Everyone Loves Raymond show? Why don't we bring that back? And it's like, dude, come on. No, we want good stuff to come back. I'm sorry, Alita Battle Angel was okay. I love Robert Rodriguez. I love the people that were involved in all of this, but the movie was like the middle of a movie. It had no beginning, it had no end. And there was no villain in it really, because the villain lives up in the clouds and you never see him except for once, which is played by Ed Norton, looking over the rim and he's like maniacally laughing, ha, 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 twirling his mustache. And it's just fucking horrible. Now, if you want to do a good movie that actually needs a sequel, how about Dread? Dread, like Judge Dredd, the not the Sylvester Stallone one. I'm talking about the Carl Urban one. Yeah. I agree with you, Silver Spike. Battle Angel was fucking horrible. I tried rewatching it again on HBO. Oh man, I remember seeing that in the theater, and I was just like, I was pretty pissed off about it. Uh, but yeah, yeah. Again, you can do a whole. Well, that's again, you have to shoot a whole new thing, EJR. But again, we're talking about what can start going into production. Uh, yeah, there's a fine line right now that we're at where we are really just starting to reopen the industry, I guess you could say, and what is in place, what is getting ready to film, what has already started filming and needs to, start again. And I mean, what is it? Venom 2, they're talking about reshoots and they're hoping that they can do some reshoots. They just don't know when because that's what they need in order to finish up the movie. And of course, they were shooting on location in San Francisco, which was pretty hard hit and actually has more severe restrictions than LA does. So, what do? Do you keep filming in San Francisco for the reshoots, or do you recreate that in LA on a sound lot or on a back lot and just reshoot your shit there? You know, there's all kinds of stuff that's going on there. That got me across the room. More Carl Urban, yes, please, is what Penn says. Yeah, that's what I say too. I want more Dread, and he wants more Dread too. Yeah, I just wish there was some studio. I know that 2000 AD are actually they're called Legend now, I believe is what it is. Not Legendary, but Legend, if I'm not mistaken. They're the ones that are trying to fund a Dread TV series, but without Dread in it. I don't know. It's all kinds of weird stuff. Ah, Joker says, Swam song was a great song for the credits for Battle Angel. Okay. Silver Spike says, my friend is in the process of finishing off armor for Witcher season 2. Nice. Nice. So building the armor, I take it like physically building the armor, Silver Spike, not CGI armor, of course. I know that's actually been put on hiatus as well because they were getting ready to start filming that. Man, I mean, Henry Cavill is Cavill. I never know how to say his name, but anyway, he's been working out. He's been releasing videos of him in the gym working out, all that kind of stuff. Of course, getting pumped for Witcher, and of course, I believe Superman because I believe he's coming back as Superman. 60 sets of armor. Holy shit, that's a lot. Wow. How about the Batman? How about an Agent Future? There's been no word on the Batman. What's going on with that? So that's probably not going to go back into production until July or August, most likely. They didn't really get that far into it anyway to begin with. So, yeah. The scrotum armor. That's a lot of foam. I don't think they're making it out of foam, EJR. Yeah. Oh, man. That's actually really cool to hear, Silver Spike. Thanks for bringing that news in that they're actually working on armor for The Witcher 2. That's pretty damn cool. So, here's some news that isn't that cool. Ridley Scott wants to make some more shitty sequels to both Alien Covenant and Prometheus. Why? Just be done with it already, man. Go make Black Rain 2 or something like that, or Gladiator 2, and leave the Alien franchise alone. Let Neil Blomkamp do his version of Alien that he wants to do. I would rather see that. Yes, exactly. Silver Spike. I said, "Oh Christ, really?" myself. Although I said, "For fuck's sake, really?" Yeah, he wants to do more sequels to both Alien Covenant and Prometheus. I don't know why. I really don't. They were both shitty adaptations. Covenant much more so than Prometheus. I couldn't even watch Covenant. Covenant was that bad. Prometheus, I made it through and I was laughing the entire way. Yeah, I agree. He has done more than enough damage to the Alien franchise. He basically took all the goodwill that he had from the first movie, from Alien, and squandered it completely. And now he's in a deficit, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I agree with you, HR. Someone does have to take the keys away from Grandpa. Say no more. Here, take your meds, man. Go to bed. Yeah, it's just he lives in his own little bubble. I realize that he doesn't realize that these movies are not loved by anyone other than him. And yeah, and honestly, we need to get Damon Lindelof fucking as far away from that franchise as possible. As a matter of fact, as I've said this before, we need to get Damon Lindelof as far away from any established franchise as much as possible. Let him do his own thing. Let him, well, I know he won't be able to do this, but he needs to come up with something original so that he can work on that himself and he can destroy it himself, him and JJ Abrams. They all need to stay, his JJ Abrams crew of people need to stay away from established franchises completely and just make their own crap, as far as I'm concerned. That way they can destroy that stuff and not just, destroy established franchises. Agent Future says Ridley Scott's last good movie was The Martian. Did he actually direct that? I thought he was just a producer in that. I didn't know he actually directed that one. Yeah, that was actually a good movie. I like The Martian. I mean, but then again, you can't really fuck that one up too much. There's really not too much you can do with a one-man show. Silver Spike says apparently in production meetings, he comes out with some very odd ideas. Yeah, I heard about that. Silver Spike. I especially with Prometheus when they were trying to nail down what the plot was, and he kept coming up with all these weird fucking ideas, and so they never knew what was going to happen next, and he kept changing them, like in the middle of production, and they're why stop, come up with a story, set it up, and then as you're doing it, as you're going through your pre-production, if something doesn't work when you're going through your pre-production, then you change it. Not every time you're working every day you change stuff out. It doesn't work. Yeah, staff didn't know what to say to half of it. Yeah, I can imagine. uh will they destroy DC? It's already pretty damaged. Are you talking about Warner Brothers, or I don't know what you're talking about there, Stanley? Yeah, and I agree with you, HR. There's nothing original about JJ Abrams' group of people. They really just glom on to somebody else's franchise or idea and destroy it. Oh, the JJ Abrams crew. Are they involved in any DC project? I mean, other than Watchmen that Lindelof was involved with, that god awful shit show. Um, yeah, I mean, I've said this before. You can go and watch my whole Watchmen reviews on this. I understand the underlying content of it, but that was a different series that Lindelof wanted to make. He wasn't allowed to make it, so he folded it into the Watchmen franchise. They were two separate things, and yeah, there we go. Ejar says, "I've heard from someone I know who worked in the production. Don't look at him or speak to him directly." Yeah, That's a lot of people. Michael Bay. So one of my old instructors used to work for ILM, and he said when they were working on the Transformers movie, especially when they were doing the dailies of the CGI for the Transformers transforming, he would get pissed off about some little thing. He goes, "Who's responsible for this? They're fired!" To the point where it became a joke within the CGI groups that who's responsible for this? They're fired. And yeah, supposedly he's a raging dickhead. Michael Bay. Big surprise on that one. So yeah. Yes, WB hired them for $500 million. Ugh. Wow. Not looking forward to that one. Stanley Tweedle. Yeah, they'll destroy the DC universe pretty easily. The DCEU, I guess you could say. Agent Future says Drew Goddard was the screenwriter for The Martian, which helped. Oh yeah, yeah, and I believe Andy Weir also was on set, who wrote the book, and I believe he was also there helping out. Yeah, I know. There's a shock about Michael Bay, the man who made Megan Fox wash his car as her audition for Transformers in a bikini. Yes, he made her wash his car in a bikini for her audition. You don't get much more horrible than that. And well, you do. I should say there's a lot more horrible people in Hollywood. Yeah. You didn't hear about that one? Silver Spy? That's all over the place. Yeah, there's that's not a rumor. Supposedly that's been confirmed by him that yes, that's what they did. Yeah. Did she compare him to I don't think she did. I don't know for sure, but I could be wrong about that. I know she didn't like the man. Yeah. All right. So what else do I have here? I've only got two more things here. So as of this month, the rights to Daredevil, to Marvel's Daredevil, reverts back to Marvel within 6 months. So come December, Marvel gets Daredevil back, at least the film rights to it. So, yeah, I think they might be planning something maybe for Disney Plus, considering they have all these Marvel TV shows that are coming out. Maybe that might be something that's happening. Don't be surprised if you see him pop up someplace. Yeah. Also, I don't know if anyone saw the trailer that came out yesterday for Lovecraft Country on HBO, the new trailer that came out. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Lovecraft Country, it takes place during the 30s, I believe. The 1930s, an African American couple that are traveling through the South along with their uncle, if I remember correctly. It's based on a series of books. And of course, African American traveling through the South, pretty much at any point in time now, well, especially during the 30s, it's the racism involved. But on top of that, there's also supernatural creatures involved as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's just say. I'm going to take a look at it. I want to see what it's going to be like. I love the supernaturalness of. I mean, watching the trailers for it, it looks really kind of cool the way they're blending in the supernatural aspect along with the racism aspect of it too, and it's kind of an interesting mix of these different evils that are pretty much which one's more evil is what you're going for. Yes, so all aspects of H.P. Lovecraft are covered. Exactly, Stanley Tweedle. That's exactly it. I don't know whether or not I'm going to cover it or not. I haven't made that decision as of yet. We'll see once August gets closer. and where my what my schedule looks like on that. Oh, Lovecraft was a huge racist. I mean, a huge fucking racist. Um, yeah, which is kind of interesting to blend, you know, Lovecraft's work with, racist Southern America or racist America, you could say at that point in time in the 1930s. Yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting. I haven't read the books. I know people have read the books that say it's really good. Uh, again, there's a list of shit that's, way high that I need to get to, and that's on that list someplace. Yeah. He did. He did hold some very warped ideas, Silver Spike. Um, it's hard to believe that like he and Robert E. Howard from the Conan series used to correspond via mail quite a bit. They were friends via mail. There's a couple of the Pulp Fiction writers that used to actually correspond with each other and all that stuff, and were good friends via mail, which was kind of weird. And a lot of them held very different belief systems, if you will, and you know, very interesting all the way around. But yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how that plays out. I mean, Jordan Peele, of course, is one of the executive producers. Unfortunately, so is J.J. Abrams and Damon Lindelof as well. Oh yeah, usually when you get those names involved, I'm just like, my pucker factor goes about to an 8 to a 9, somewhere around there when they're involved in all of this. But Jordan Peele is involved in it, so that's the reason why I'm like, all right, I'll watch this because Jordan Peele is involved, not because J.J. Abrams and Damon Lindelof are. But so yeah, that's why I gave you the whole premise first before I told you who was producing it. Because I wanted to build your hopes up and then just bring them straight back down again. Because that's the way I am. So what else do I have going on this week? Tomorrow I'm off. Monday is going to be Stargirl. Tuesday is going to be, excuse me, I guess me just belching is what it's going to be. Tuesday is going to be Is It Worth My Time? I'm going to be talking about HBO Max in detail. Because I think it's about time we talk about HBO Max, that we sit down and have that talk about HBO Max and what's wrong with it. And then of course Wednesday I'm going to be doing another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And I'm going to go through Solar Opposites, I believe is what I'm going to do, which is the animated Hulu TV show. Well, I'm going to talk about season 1 there, which would be fairly interesting considering I don't have Hulu anymore and I can't go back and watch any of the episodes. But I do know kind of sort of what they're like. Thursday I'm going to be off. Friday is going to be Harley Quinn. And then of course Saturday rolls back around and we have Saturday Morning Blast Off. And as Penn has put down there, remember, take a look at the schedule on suspendedfanimation.com and like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you're going to see the very end of this video a video pop up here. If you like what's here, subscribe. Also up here is going to be Harley Quinn, is what pops up there. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at my weekly schedule that I change out every week. And I also post that on my Facebook page. And speaking of Facebook, there's a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff on and talk amongst yourselves. So, no sailing the high seas, right? No, I don't. I don't sail the high seas, Ben. Yeah. That would be schedule. Yeah, I don't have the English accent for that HR, so I don't say schedule or schedule. They sound like they're chewing on their tongue or something. Schedule. Yeah. There's a new Cinemax series coming out, Joe Greer. What's that? I'm still waiting for HBO Max to actually start playing some Cinemax series like Banshee and Warrior and things like that, so I can actually watch that. Trackers, is that what's that? I'm gonna open myself up here. What's that all about? Is that about guys tracking Bigfoot in the woods? Is it kind of like Oak Island, where they go, "Oh, listen, we hear Bigfoot out in the distance," and you hear a wolf. "Ooh, ooh." Next time on Trackers, they almost find Bigfoot, and on the next episode of Trackers, they almost find Bigfoot, and on the next episode of Trackers, they find a hair. Is it from Bigfoot? No, it's from Bob's beard. I'm sorry. Yeah, Oak Island. Oak Island for some reason really irks the fuck out of me. Mainly because it has like 18 seasons of nothing, and Project Blue Book gets dumped. So did Nightfall as well. Nightfall I've been watching on Netflix. For those of you who don't know what Nightfall is, it's about the Templars and the Holy Grail. Takes place around late 1200s, somewhere around there. Second season actually has Mark Hamill in it, and it's fairly decent. It's not bad, and I just kind of got into it second season, and of course it's been canceled. It was canceled along with Project Blue Book. But of course, Oak Island has another fucking 15 seasons to go through where they can just dig up shit. And on the next Oak Island, they find a piece of metal that may or may not be from last week. Yeah. I'm waiting for the Raid director Gareth Evans series, Gangs of London. Oh, interesting, Joker. I didn't hear about that one. That's a new Cinemax series. Okay. You forgot to recap after every commercial. Yeah, that's the other thing that pissed me off too, HR, is they recap after every fucking commercial break about what you just saw like 5 minutes ago. Then they leave you 2 minutes of new footage and then they go back to another fucking commercial. It's horrible, horrible programming. Thanks, HR. I missed the Jaguar. Jaguar. Yeah, I used to make fun of that one too. It was on what was it? The CW. The CW streaming has their commercials in there, and they used to have Jaguar commercials that would sometimes run back to back. And yeah, the Jaguar, which I can never get to. I could never. I can't pronounce the way the guy does it. It's so foreign that my tongue can't wrap around it. The way he says Jaguar. And I know Silver Spike is laughing at me right now because, you know, you're just like, what, man? He's saying it like you normally say it. But yeah. I know. Penn Farm Girl says, I'm watching you with someone whose brother-in-law works on Oak Island. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, man, but I can't watch that fucking show anymore. It's next time on Oak Island. All this dramatic, posturing for nothing. They find a piece of wood on Oak Island. They're in the forest and they find a piece of wood. Okay, it's been buried. Oh my god. Did you watch any more of What We Do in the Shadows? So, EJAR, I have gotten through up to I'm current on What We Do in the Shadows. I'm still not sold on it, although for some reason I do find the character of Colin, the energy vampire, he fucking makes me laugh. Especially when they had the whole episode just dedicated to Colin. And I know he's the American version of stuff that they added in, and that makes me laugh, and I realize that that is what is tickling my funny bone is the American version that's been added in there, um, but yeah, I realize it's not part of the Kiwi humor. Yes, Colin just, I mean, the whole thing where he also has, where he gets the couple, now I'm blanking on their names, to go to an open mic night, and he's sitting there smiling, and his eyes are glowing because he's getting so much energy from the crowd that's booing them on stage. I was fucking almost peeing my pants. That was making me laugh so hard because it was just evil, so evil at the same time. The internet troll was good too. He's an actual troll. You can't use that name. You can't use that word. Uh, yeah, Colin Robinson. Yeah, exactly. Everyone calls him Colin Robinson, the Colin. The witches, though, uh, wanting the sperm from Nandor and Laszlo, and they're like, "All right, we'll take it from Colin too." And then later on, when Guillermo is actually harvesting their sperm, they don't want it from Colin anymore. Yeah, that was actually funny. The second season is definitely better than the first season. The first season, I can understand why I wasn't into it. Yeah, Persian Frank Zappa. You burned my village. Um, so the woman who plays Laszlo's wife, I can't remember her name now. All of a sudden, she's of Greek ancestry, and when she's doing the séance, she's actually just saying Greek nonsense words, is what she's saying, and that was kind of what was making me laugh too, is that she was just making up shit. Bat, yeah, Laszlo screaming bat to turn into a bat. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about that show is they actually drop uh storylines. So like the college girl who ended up, of course, becoming a vampire, and they were training her, and then all of a sudden they dropped it. She disappeared. And then sometimes they'll come back and they'll pick it back up again. And it's like that just seems kind of weird. And then also like the vampire hunter thing, they dropped it and then they kind of pick it back up again, and then yeah. I do like that, Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo, he's the music, coordinator for the show. So all the music you hear on the show is Mike Mothersbaugh. Jackie Daytona. Yeah, that was pretty funny. What, the toothpick? And he takes the toothpick out, and then they recognize him, and he puts the toothpick back in, and they don't recognize him. Yes, that's a nice little nod to the, Superman thing too. Glasses, no glasses. Glasses, no glasses. I do like that. That was actually pretty funny. Colin Robinson. So yeah, that was like I said, I've caught up on that. Um, I'm trying to think what else that I've been watching. Like I said, I've been watching Nightfall. So right now, that's kind of my decompressor is to throw on Nightfall on Netflix, and I'll just go through the next episode. And yes, I have weird decompressors, and I'm liking the aspect of it. Quite honestly, there's some weird shit in Nightfall, and I'm disappointed to realize that this is the final season. But still, hey, you know, the toothpick reminds me of Rick and Morty. Eh, nah, it's more Superman-ish. Yeah, it had Mark Hamill in it. HR, yeah. So Mark Hamill, it's kind of funny. So he came back for both What We Do in the Shadows and Nightfall. So I don't know if he's doing some more. You fell asleep over Nightfall. I could see that. I actually have a book floating around somewhere around here called Deus Le Volt, which is Latin for God wills it, and it's all about the Crusades and how that was what the knights used to say to justify them going in and raping and pillaging a town was that they would scream out Deus Le Volt and they would take everything in the town as they were going on their crusades, and that was yeah, really fucked up. And it's something that I was interested in reading about. And so that kind of falls somewhere within my weird wheelhouse of stuff that I watch. Knights of the Templar, go figure. I know. Stanley Twilo, you've watched me long enough now. You know I fucking murder the English, Latin, pretty much any languages whatsoever. All I'm doing is I'm doing phonetically as I'm looking at it. I know I probably said it wrong. But yeah, there you go. Yes, I agree with you, HR. Wesley Snipes as the well, that whole thing with a whole bunch of celebrities being actual vampires. So Danny Trejo, Kate Blanchett, Tilda Swinton, what's her name? Evan Rachel Woods was there. They couldn't, of course, get Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt. They were unavailable. Uh, and what did they say? Bill, somebody was over it. I can't remember who it was, but someone who played a vampire, and I couldn't put that part together. But yeah, yes, we know Mark. So that's the reason why you came in, because we were talking a little bit about what we do in the shadows. So yeah. Next time on the search for Templar gold. I know, really. Next time on the search at Oak Island, we're searching for Templar gold. That's really what they're searching for. They're searching for Templar gold. You would think that Oak Island would be within my wheelhouse, but it's not, because it's a fucking boring show. They never find anything. Uh, they really never find anything whatsoever, except for mud and sticks, and occasionally a nail. I'm talking about a fingernail. I'm talking about like you know, a iron nail or something like that. Got to be careful. My hand gestures there. Self-depreciating Dennis is pretty funny. Really? I understand that I murder shit all the time. Hooked on phonics works for me too. My pronunciation is horrible. I realize that. It's it's not a strength that I have. And I freely admit it. At work all the time, if I see somebody's name and I look at it and I'm like, I'm gonna murder your name, so please tell me how to say it, and I'm still gonna probably murder it even after you've pronounced it to me, because I have problems with my own last name. You have never heard my English, is what Stanley Tweedle said. Yeah, but it's probably a second language, right? I mean, come on, this is supposed to be my, my native language. HR says the Oak Island In Search Of episode from the 70s had more actual content than all the season combined. Wow. So the only reason why I was watching Oak Island was because it was before Project Blue Book. So I would put it on and getting ready for Project Blue Book, and I would be setting up my Project Blue Book streams while Oak Island was playing. And literally that's why it would be on, and it would irk the shit out of me to the point where I just put it on mute. Yeah, that's how bad it was. And again, sorry to Penn, Farm Girl's friend out there who has somebody who works on Oak Island, but it's a shitty show. I'm sorry. It really is. What is this Oak Island humbug? Never heard of it. You're lucky, Stanley Tweedle. It's on the History Channel. So the History Channel is no longer really about history. Um, so what this show is about these two brothers who have obviously a shitload of money to the point where they are digging up this island patches at a time looking for supposed treasure that was buried on the island back in the 16 1700s, maybe by the Templars, by the Knights Templar, maybe even further back than that. They don't know for sure. And literally it's kind of like if you've ever seen the old Geraldo Rivera digging into Al Capone's vault. That's essentially what it is. It's got that much suspense, that much melodrama, and that much payoff. We found an old bottle filled with dust. Yeah. So Dennis, is this the war room? You know, the fact that I know what the fuck that is just annoys me too. Yeah. BD says, I heard of it, but didn't explore next time on Oak Island. Thankfully, you didn't. Don't do it, BD. You will only hate yourself. And I know I've promoted a good majority of this podcast to just, talk about how bad it is. Yeah. History Channel, isn't that Vikings and Nightfall? No longer Nightfall or Vikings, Stanley Tweedle, because they've canceled both of those shows. It's all Oak Island all the time now. Next time on Oak Island, there's going to be more Oak Island. Oak Island, the spinoff. Nothing but car rides. Stuck in traffic, Oak Island. Uh, you'll feel cheap after watching exactly Silver Spike. Ancient Aliens, Jesus Christ, man. You think that guy would have made some money by now off that Ancient Alien shows to the point where he could actually get a full hairpiece restoration instead of the, wall of hair that he's got going on? And it's kind of funny if you can actually really like super fast forward just the parts of him speaking throughout all the different um seasons, you'll see his hair, the plugs get put in almost, you know, in real time there. Because you see the hair plugs just start because at first it starts back here, like back over this way, and then it slowly starts moving forward over time. And next time on Oak Island, the remains of Tiger King. Or are they? Dun dun dun. Uh EJR says I only watched some of the episodes because of Blue Book. Now that it's gone, I'm free. I agree with EJR. Yeah, I don't have to watch it either. The other thing I was watching History Channel for was Forged in Fire. Don't ask me why, but watching people compete to make fucking knives in an hour or 3 or whatever it is, for some reason, I guess is in my wheelhouse as well. So I kind of like the Forged in Fire stuff. Go figure. Yeah, you would think, that that guy from Ancient Aliens, he would have met some aliens by now. They can give him the technology to get his hair growing back in again. Speaking of hair, it bugged the shit out of me that Ed Harris in Westworld didn't shave that shit. He just doesn't care, BD. He really doesn't. He doesn't. So I mean, I shaved mine, but as you can see, I actually still have mine. And yes, I don't have the bald spot in the back or anything like that going on. I just shave it for, ease of use. I do my own hair cutting myself, BD. Maybe I should do that as a YouTube. No, that would just be really horrible. Stanley's Tweedle says only scripted TV for me, none of that reality shit. So you watch Ancient Aliens, then, is what you're saying? I don't use the Flowbee. No. Thank you, BD. I've been doing it long enough now that I've already, I've fucked up enough that I know what I'm doing enough where I can get it to work. Stanley Twiddle says my hair could be called Project Runway. Is it just a runway strip? Yeah. See, now we've devolved completely in this show. Completely. We're talking about haircuts and Philip A. Demick says a Forged in Fire fan accidentally burned down half a neighboring town. Oh, really? Wow. I'm not surprised, quite honestly. I looked into doing forging classes because I took that warning seriously at the very beginning when they said, if you're going to try and do this shit, take some classes. And I can't find any around me. You would think out in the redneck area that I'm at, there would be a ton of these things going on, but no, there's nothing. No. We've devolved. Our job is done. Yes, but it's genre adjacent. Thanks, HR. Thanks for throwing my own words back at me, bitch. Man. To go on long enough on this show and then to have someone throw your own words back at you for, justifying covering something that, really isn't genre, but you're trying to get away with it anyway. Thanks. Yeah. Correspondence course for forging. Learn how to forge by mail. Is that what it is? Oh, learn how to forge by carrier pigeon. Oh man. No. Yeah, I have no room for setting up a forge or anything like that. I live on the second floor, so there's just no fucking way. Yeah. Although given all the fucking construction and shit that my neighbors around me are doing, it obviously doesn't stop any of them. At like fucking midnight doing grinding with a, metal grinder and all that kind of shit. Yeah. You either die a hero or live long enough to have your own words thrown back at you. That's what I was going for, Philip A. Demick, but I really didn't want to delve into that. Thanks for bringing that one up too. Stanley Tweedle says the Federal Postal Service will be gone soon, so hurry if you want to try it. That's what I was saying. Carrier pigeon. Carrier pigeon is the alternative. Yeah. Learn veterinary medicine in the privacy of your own home. No. God, no. I just looked over at Pepper. Luckily, she's still asleep. Speaking of which, she's got an appointment today. Dun, dun, dun. I'm not doing any kind of veterinary stuff on her. I don't even like giving her pills, Stanley Tweedle. She doesn't like me giving her pills either. So she does not fall for the, it's wrapped in the cheese thing. No, she eats the cheese around it and goes, there's your pill, motherfucker. Yeah, I take her into the vet and I'm like, here, you guys do it. I'm not doing it. I'll pay you. Here. Yeah. Dentistry? No. Dentistry by mail? No, thanks. Well, since we've reached that point of devolution, I think it's time that we wrap things up. How about you? Again, if you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the very end of this video. Up here, you'll see a video right there. And if you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button down there. And up here is going to be Harley Quinn is what's going to be up there. And if you want to know when I'll be on live again next, you can hit the bell. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at my weekly schedule that I post up there, which I also post on my Facebook page. Also on my Facebook page, there's a Facebook group page which you guys can join and chat amongst yourselves. So, oh, and also on suspendedfanimation.com are the links to all my social media. So that's Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon, but there's no tier set up on the Patreon page. So there you go. I don't like taking people's money. I don't have anything to give you guys. So there you go. Bye, Marks. Nice seeing you too. I guess, it's nice that you got out of your coffin for a little bit there just to join us. Thanks, everybody. I will see you guys on Monday for Stargirl. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may be forced by Michael Bay to audition for him by washing his car in a bikini, which nobody wants. That's just wrong. Thanks, everybody. I will see you guys on Monday. Have a good rest of your day or night, depending on where you are. And, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Bye.